would be looking at how quickly we could create a seamless integrated app for ticketing system using Power Platform and Dataverse at the backend. This app pretty much useful for teams who are working in an enterprise at various divisions like HR, finance, corporate marketing, IT support, and so on and so forth. And it gives the user with a mobile experience with offline capabilities to connect to their backend systems. So they can punch a request. It could be self-service request or IT help desk request. And there is a workflow automation using Power Automate, which kind of takes that request and sends it to the managers for approval. And there's Outlook process as well, where you could approve those requests through Outlook. And we're using Dataverse here, but if you have Azure SQL or any backend systems such as SAP, Jira, ServiceNow, Salesforce, you could use Power Platform Premium Connector to connect to that system and have this Power App as the user-facing interface. And this was built pretty much using the out-of-the-box component and template without much code or any code written on it. Let's go take a look at the app and see how it works together. So this is my app. I'm using a mobile device to access this app. It takes the NT user login ID details when a user logs in a request. So that's the preliminary level of security that starts with. As you can see, this is the homepage of the app, and there are filters at the top where a user can take a look at the various status of the request that's been logged by that particular user. And you could drill down based on the status of these tickets as well. As you can see, there's various statuses, and in your case, if you have different status, that's totally possible to configure quickly. Now, what we will do is we'll go ahead and create a new ticket or a request and see how it all comes together. So I can use finance, and I can drop down and choose any department that I am going to send this request to. It is easily configurable, and if you have more different items such as these, you just need to add this in a drop down. And it also gives the functionality to choose multiple teams as well. So in this case, we go with finance, but if you want to choose HR, that's totally possible. If you want to choose marketing or any other teams, that's totally possible as well. And keep in mind, you could have a logic at the back when you create these, when you select these drop downs, the request will go to that particular team. So you don't want to deduplicate or send it to the wrong team as well, right? All right, so in this case, I'll just pick HR and finance and we move on. You leave this one blank in a typical case and you select the priority that you wanted to and due date when you need that details from your team. Assign to is going to be an automatic choice based on the teams that you select. It would pick the a group email ID or a GAL or a Teams channel where you could assign this ticket to. In this case, I've configured that with Azure Active Directory. So if I have to choose someone from my company and and I just type their name, it would list down from Azure Active Directory. So in this case, I'm going to use my own name because I'm going to have that approval facility on my email only. And then we click on next. You can handwrite or you can drag and drop items on the notes. We just say need budget and attach file. You could either take a picture to submit your supporting document, or from your mobile, if you have that in your photo library, you could attach that as well. Or if you wanted to browse on a file and from your system, that's totally possible. So what we will do is we will take a sample invoice order and then attach it there. And then we're good to go. We just click on submit, and that particular request has been submitted. And you would see at the top, it tells the user it's been successfully notified. Now the user has done his or her job in reaching out to finance and HR for a request, and that's what you see here at the bottom. It captured every detail that we kind of configured and typed in there. We can go and take a look at that as well, and you would see pretty much the same thing that you typed in is available here, and the attachment is also available. So now this attachment could either go into Azure Blob Storage, or it could go into Dataverse, or it could go into a SQL based on the solution stack that you choose to use. And you could use Dataverse as a transaction engine. But if you want to send this to SAP and other backend system, or even on-prem system using on-prem gateway, that's totally possible as well. Now the user interaction and the user activities are over, so we want to take a look what happens at the backend where the workflow kicks in, and then it sends it to the managers for approval. I configured a simple approval to the email ID, which is myself. But in production, you would want to have serial approval and parallel approval based on the nature of the request. It's all totally configurable. Now I would switch over to my Outlook, and you see at the top that request was just created, and I get a notification asking me to either approve, reject, or acknowledge. What we would do is we click on approve, and this is using Microsoft Power Automate, which instantly triggers those alert based on the actions. So I'm using Outlook to approve, and then email would go to the user as a notification. And then we could also have the same kind of approval in the Teams as well. So I'm on the Teams, and I get notified in Teams here on the same uh, ticket as well. Just now we approved it, and you would see that as well here. So with this, we kind of come to the end of the demo, and it's a simple app that you could create, but there's a lot of value in it. If you really want to integrate with the other third-party systems, that's totally possible, and it gives the user the benefit of offline access, mobile access, and a great UI design for them to be very productive. Thank you.